Peace and blessings, everyone. Welcome back to the Humble Servant Homestead, guys. Today we are out here up at the top garden, and what we want to go ahead and do is to welcome you all in to the top garden, guys, because yes, today we are going to be doing a garden update. Now, I know it has been a while since I brought you all on up here to the top garden, since a lot of things has been planted, and we have been transitioning from fall to winter into spring. So right now we are, yes, here doing our spring gardening, guys, just getting things together here in the garden. Yes, it has been quite a bit of work that has been going on here on the homestead. I mean, you name it. Okay, but first up, what we're going to go ahead and do right now, we are going to start right here at the gate. Now that I have welcomed you all on in up here at the top garden. So right on over here, guys, what we have, and yes, we do have to do a little bit of cleaning here in the garden, but right here, what we have in this area right here is some cantaloupe, guys. Okay, so we have some cantaloupe that we have planted on out. We're going to let them go ahead and run right here up on this fencing that we have right here, guys. Now, what I did do when I planted these cantaloupe, I plant them right, let me get back on in here and see, we planted them about 6 inches apart. Now, I did that because I want to make sure that we get real good germination, and if some did not germinate, we would have some to replace the ones that did not germinate. So what I have to do, I have to come on in here and start thinning these cantaloupe on out, because absolutely 6 inches apart for cantaloupe is a bit too close, guys. So we're going to come on in and we're going to separate them on out, and we're going to pray that we get a great yield out of these cantaloupe. But so far, they have been doing really well. Like I said, we have good germination. Only one of the things that we're running into right now is those bugs that comes with springtime, guys. But as time goes on, yes, we will go ahead and take care of them. And also, speaking of bug, he's gone now, but I am out to take them out. But so right on over here in this bed, we'll come on over this side. So right here in this bed, what we have is some cilantro, guys. Now this right here is some cilantro. We had cilantro planted in this area last year, guys, and what we went ahead and do, we let them go ahead and go to seed. And as you all can see, this is the offspring from last year. So it pretty much went to seed, and now it's back into the process of going to seed again. That is why you see these beautiful white flowers. And yes, we have all sorts of pollination going on this cilantro. But one of the beautiful thing is, when you pass by this garden, and if you come on in here and you just brush across this cilantro, you'll stop and you say, man, what's that smell? Of course, me being in the garden, I already know what the smell is, but oftentimes I'll get my wife, she'll come on up here, brush it, and she said, oh man, that smells so good. And I said, absolutely. But cilantro is one of those herbs, guys, that it's one of those must-have on the homestead. Simple reason why: cilantro is a heavy metal detoxer. So if you have heavy metals within your body, it is good for you to have blended in a smoothie, make some tacos or whatever, put a little cilantro on it and consume it that way. But it helps to detox metal out the body. Just so you can see what the seeds are looking like, that right there is the seeds. And yes, guys, we will be coming on out here once these seeds start drying to collect them. Right in this area right here, what we also have is some red Russian kale, guys. And yes, it is about that time to transplant them on out. And also, In here with the red Russian kale, we have some basil. All right. Now this basil right here is basil that also came from last year. Um, we let it go to seed, and come on out here in the spring and you'll see basil just start spreading everywhere. Yes, this is also basil. And I'm telling you, like I said, herb garden. And it's just a beautiful thing to have these herbs on out here. You can make you some basil tea in the morning. That is how we will use this basil and other things, whatever my wife decides she wants to make. Right over here, as you all know, this right here is our rosemary. All right, and as you all can see, it is looking really good. One of the key thing with rosemary is, guys, when it gets ready to harvest, you want to come on out and harvest it, because what's going to happen when you harvest it, like I said, you're going to stimulate new growth, and that is exactly what is going on with this one. We came on in here and we snipped a piece of rosemary right here, and if y'all can see, we have quite a bit of new growth right here on the side. Okay. And right here is what I'm talking about. You can see those new growth here on the side from where I've come on in and take a piece on out. But also, one of the things that I do also want to share with you all when it comes to rosemary, this is a plant that is very, very easy to propagate, guys. In the springtime, when the weather is just right, we're getting lots of rain, the soil is staying moist. What we will typically like to do with our rosemary, and I'm going to show you what we do, and then I'll show you the results. And so right here, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and break a piece just like this right here. Okay, and to about this point right here, guys, we're going to go ahead and pull the leaves off to about that point. Now, my wife don't like to see me throw these leaves back on in. She's like, give me those, I can use them inside the kitchen. And we'll just do a little scrape right here on this rosemary, just like that. And what we're going to do, we're going to come on in just like that with my finger, and I'm going to push that rosemary down into the soil, cover it on around. Now, the key thing is, guys, is to make sure that you keep this soil moist if you want this rosemary to go ahead and start putting on roots. Right here is the result from that when I come on out here in the springtime. And as you all can see, guys, we have quite a bit. We have right in here as well. We have some more right here and right here. Now these, they have taken root, and what I'm going to be doing as I come on out to plant these red Russian kales out, I'm going to go ahead and put these inside of a pot, and we'll go from there. So yes, absolutely, that is the rosemary. Now right on over here, of course, we have talked about this thyme before. This is our thyme, guys, that just keeps on giving. Right now it is in the process of going to seed, but because, like I said, it is planted so dense, if I'm not able to come on out and get these seeds and broadcast them on out somewhere, they will not germinate in this area right here, guys. But yes, this is our thyme, and yes, it is still usable. Not because it is going to flower, that does not mean that you cannot use your thyme. That does not mean you cannot consume your thyme. Yes, you can. Don't let the flower deter you. As a matter of fact, what I'm going to be coming out here to do is to harvest some more of this thyme right here and dry it on out and put it in a jar, put it away for storage, okay? Because right now it's going to be in the process of pretty much starting all over again. Once it goes to flower, what's going to happen? These pieces right here, some of them will start drying up. They'll start dying back. That is when I'll come on in and start trimming it back and give it another fresh start. And so right here, as you all can see, we have a garden bed in this area that is a bit empty, but I know you do see some greenery right here in this area right here. Now what this is sweet potatoes, and we are in the process of making more sweet potato slips. And so we had someone that was to ask us a question. How many slips can you get from one sweet potato? And I just want to go ahead and show you. Believe, I like to show you better than I can tell you. All right, so I'm going to pull this one on out. And if you notice, we have ton loads of slip on this potato right here, guys. Okay, now typically that is not how I would go about harvesting it, but I just wanted to do it for demonstration purposes. We're going to count these slips out. So this right here, this one have three. If you want, you can pull those apart. One, two, and you have three. And same with this. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, so that was just off one sweet potatoes. We just got 15 slips off that potato on this round. Yes, because this right here coming back in the soil, keeping it moist, it's going to keep on producing more sweet potato slips, guys. Now, one of the things is that we would do back home with this sweet potato slip right here, once we plant this sweet potato slip on out in the garden and it start running and it starts sprawling all over the place, what farmers would typically do, they would come on in and they would rob a little piece of slip off that potato, more so the end, they would cut off, and they will take that back to their garden that has already been worked and prepped, and they will take this here and they will plant it out in other places. So sweet potato slip is one of those things. Once it start running, you can always go back and cut slip off of that plant and plant in other places. Okay, so keep that in mind. Pray that I answer your question, but long as you plant them, and but that process, I will tend to find that process works a little bit best in soil, guys, because sometime with your potatoes being in water, you tend to run the risk of your potatoes starting to rot. So if you have potatoes in the dirt and you leave them, they will keep on producing slips for you. Okay, so
the key to it is starting it in the dirt early enough so that they can produce the amount of slips that you want.
Absolutely, and that plays a big part in it. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to rest these in the soil for now, and I'm going to come back and plant those on out in just a moment. All right, so yes, guys, so that right there is our sweet potato slips, and right here is another empty bed that we will be coming on in to plant out these babies right here. Okay, so right here, if y'all remember, we had strawberry planted in this area, guys. I did kind of neglect them a little bit, so they did kind of die off, but we had some runners that came on out here, and as y'all can see, they staying alive, and we have more runners, so I'm going to use these to fill this bed right here on up. All right, so also stay tuned for that right there. All right, so come on over here. I guess we're going to loop around in this garden because there's so many different little spots here in this garden. So before I move on down, we're going to talk about our beets. So yes, this right here is some beets. If you remember that beet video that we dropped probably about a month or so ago, this is the beet that we was doing the demonstration from. Right now we have some beets in here that is starting to go to seed, guys. So we're just waiting on it, going through the process so we can harvest our very own beet seeds here on the homestead to plant back out for in the fall. All right, so that is what this whole entire bed is made up of, is beets. Okay, so right on over here is where, yes, we have our red onions planted. Now they are now in the process of starting to bulb out. They're starting to bulb up for us. Over here on this side, pretty soon they will be starting to fall over. And once they fall over, that right there is a sign to let us know it is harvesting time. So we got onions in here for onions in here, all different sizes, and that is what I was shooting for, guys. Instead of trying to get those baseball size onions, we got, you know, we got some pretty good sized onions in here. All right, so that is what that is. So absolutely stay tuned for a onion harvesting video, because yes, and as I spoke about falling over, as you can see, this one right here, that right there is ready. You may say, hey, how you know that your onion is ready? Like you see this one here standing straight up. Once this neck, once the neck fall over like that right there, guys, is a sign to let you know that your onion is ready to be harvested. You'll take that.
Yeah.
We'll get it on the way out, baby.
Okay.
All right. Okay. And so right on over here is where we have our cabbages, guys. And absolutely, it is about harvesting time for all these cabbage. Well, I won't I won't say all these cabbage. We still have a few that need to go ahead and fill out for us. But yes, absolutely. As you all can see, oh, I'm running. Yeah, we got a lizard here. Lizards I don't mind, because what these lizards also help me with in the garden, guys, is for bugs and all that different kind of stuff. They will come on in and eat those bugs. But for the most part, we have been the cabbage, they've been doing really good. The bug pressure, not so much. Of course, it's that time for the cabbage moths, and they have been flying around, pitching, and just been doing what they do, which is letting caterpillars go, guys. But nonetheless, that's all right. We have some beautiful heads of cabbage here. These are nice and ready, um, real nice and solid. So pretty beautiful cabbage patch. So nonetheless, that is it right there. Stay tuned as well. Yeah, stay tuned. So we're going to go ahead and keep on moving. Absolutely, like I said, guys, look at there. Got him.
Got it.
I got one. There was two. There was mating. I got one, and you got away. I'm sorry for all the butterfly lovers out there. I'm telling you, they don't really sit well with me here in the garden. It's one of those things. I do want to come on in and start covering these veggies, guys, but with the size and how they grow, it almost as if it makes it impossible for me to cover them up to keep the bugs off of them. Okay, right in here as well is another beautiful, that is a solid head of cabbage right there. Very, very solid. And like I said, we're going to be coming in to harvest. You stay tuned for that. We're coming on out to harvest out some of these cabbages. All right, so we're going to keep on walking. In this area, I do have a little bit of, yes, I know you came in and harvest a few of those kale. And that is our dinosaur kale right there. Absolutely. Whenever you plant Kalaloo, you will have Kalaloo in different areas. And these we will be coming to get them and plant them out inside of the garden. All right. So right on down here, guys, what we have is some tomatoes. As y'all can see, we have couple of rows of tomatoes here that are doing pretty good for the most part. It is actually time to come on in and start pruning a little bit of these tomatoes here. That's one of the things when I say prune, I mean to come on in here and pluck off all these suckers right here, guys. These are suckers that not going to do us any good on these plants, but to make it bushy. Now this right here is a indeterminate tomato, so we're just going to keep maybe about few of the suckers to kind of go ahead and help to put out more tomatoes. So hey, yes, tomatoes. You stay tuned as well. I think I'm going to do a video coming out here planting out some more tomatoes because we still have a few more that we need to plant as well. All right, so come on along. We're going to keep on moving. So right in here, guys, is where we have some onions. Now these here are our onions that we planted out, our onions that we started here at home. Now coming out here looking at them, they could be doing better, okay? But hey, that's what happened in the garden. It's trial and errors, guys. This here is a fresh bed that we have put in. Like I said, we are moving to that no-till bed. And that is what this is. So the onions, they're a little bit on the small sides, but that is all right. That is the beautiful part about it. You actually see here, guys, on this homestead, the failures. I would not even consider this as a failure because we still can come on out and harvest those small ones. But that just to let you know that is not all the time everything grow big here on the homestead. And so right here we are in the spot, guys. If you all remember when I came on in and sprinkled these beets right here. Now as you all can see, it is looking real nice and lush now. So these beets, they are in the process of putting on their tubers, or their roots. Yeah, they're in the process of putting on their beet roots, guys. And so we're just patiently awaiting. All right, so nonetheless, they are looking pretty good. And hey, we're just waiting patiently. So right on over here, what we also have is a bit more cilantro planted on out. And yes, we do have these ones here starting to bolt. But hey, we'll still come on out and we will harvest those beautiful leaves down at the bottom, guys. Now I had this whole entire row right here planted out with cilantro, but hey, some of them didn't go through that transplant. Some of them got shocked and pretty much died back. But now, as y'all can see, they are just growing. So, um, like I said, that beautiful fragrance, that beautiful smell of cilantro. All right. And also right in here, what we have is more basil. Now, one of the thing is you want to make sure that your basil keep on growing and keep on doing what it's supposed to do for you. Right in here, if you notice, this basil right here is starting to try and put on some seed heads, guys. We're just going to simply come on in. We're going to pluck that seed head on out. That smell. Yes. So we just pluck that seed head on out, and what this basil is going to do, it's going to keep on producing, because like I said, whenever you tap a plant, what that is going to do is going to give it signal to start putting out more new growth. And so that's what's going to happen when you pluck those seed heads. If you let this basil plant right here go to seed before time, if you didn't want it to go to seed and you let it go to seed, what's going to happen? It's going to stop producing for you guys. So just make sure you keep on plucking those heads off those basil plants. But right here, what you are pretty much looking at is a full row of basil, guys. Now you may say, hey, Mr. Humble, what are you going to do with all those basils? We're going to make teas, and plus we're going to bundle some up for friends and family, so that way they can get a taste of the homestead as well. All right. And so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to hop on over a row, and we're going to come on over here to where we have, yes, this right here is our cucuzzi squash. All right. So this right here is our cucuzzi squash. Now, if you notice, it wants to take its own path, and that's exactly what we don't want here, guys. So what we're going to do, we're going to train this little fellow right here how to run up this fence, because this is what the fence is here for for this little guy. All right, so we're just going to run him back on through here, and that right there will let him know the direction that I want him to go and not the direction that he wants to go. All right, so nonetheless, yes, this is our cucuzza, and we have a little bit more here that is trying to do its own thing, and we're going to help him out. All right, just like that. Come on through this one here. You want to be careful sometime. Some plants, they will actually snap on you, but the cucuzza seem to be real flimsy, which that is all right. So, and that's it. They're sprouting up. Pretty soon they will start to put on blossoms. Now these plant right here blossoms at night, guys. So sometime what we will have to do is we'll have to get the male and peel it back to pollinate the female. Okay, so that's what we will do with these so we can get a good harvest out of them. All right, you can see I am walking through my little cornfield here, guys. This is 2 rows of corn that I've planted on out. Now this corn right here is the trucker's favorite corn, guys. I am thinking about planting also another variety of corn right on over here, and I'll just pull uh that tarp back and show you all a little bit as we get on over there to show you what we're working with, because after all, it is a garden update and we're going to update you with what's going on here in the garden, guys.
Yeah, I have a comment, because technically this is 8 rows of corn, right? Because you have 4
Yes,
rows in each field.
yes, absolutely. And you know, I guess I can touch on it a little bit because I am going to come on out to talk a little bit more in depth on corn to you all. So, of course, absolutely. You know what? Stay tuned for that video because I don't want to say too much and to give away what it is that I'm going to be bringing to you all. So stay tuned for that. So like as y'all can see, yes, we do have 8 rows of corn technically, like you said. And so that is how, you know, we layer it out, and it's for a good reason, guys. Okay, so stay tuned for that video. We will be bringing to you all, and I think it's going to be a good one by the grace of the Most High. So right on over here, like I said, guys, we'll talk a little bit about what's going on over here. Now, if y'all can see this in this area, this tarp right here is pretty much for that weed control, guys. Just to make sure that we are killing out all the weeds before we plant in this area right here. Plus, I don't want, whenever it rains, for the rain to wash out my nutrients before I come on in and plant what it is that I need to plant. But one of the beautiful things is, because yes, this right here is our no-till bed, guys. If you've been following us, like I said, we are moving towards that no-till method. What that is going to do for I here on this homestead is kind of cut back a lot of that workload for me, because you know, this is my 9 to 5. Really and truly, if there is a word past 9 to 5, because I am out here from in the morning sometime till 10 o'clock at night, guys. I'm wrapping up to take it on inside of the house. So this is a full-time job for me here on this homestead. But one of the beautiful things that I want to also point out with using that broke down hay and manure from our goats, if you notice how moist that is. But we're also going to move right on over here, guys. If you notice how dry the top of this is, I believe we had rain about, what has been 5 days ago now. So we had rain about 5 days ago, and I have not came on in to water these corn. But one of the things, I'm going to scrape this back right here. Now, what you notice how moist, you notice how moist this is? And that is the beautiful part about using that, that manure, putting on this bed. What's going to happen? Yeah, the top may be dry, but it holds the moisture underneath the ground. And that's why we love to use it. And I'm gonna show it to you one more time. We're gonna move right here where we have our basil, guys. If you notice how dry the top of this basil is, yes, it is. It's dry. It is very dry. But look at this when I come underneath here. Look at that, super moist. Now that is the reason why also I will tell you guys, before you water your garden, just make sure that you are checking it first before you go on water, because I can actually damage these plants right here if I were to come on in and turn my drip system on and keep watering them every other day, just watering them. What can happen? I can have root rot from all that water. So I just hold off on coming out here and watering this garden. So just make sure you keep that in mind. How you come out and check to make sure that your garden actually need watering, you would come out here and you will scratch this layer back from an inch to 2 inch down. You would scratch it back, and with me scratching, I can clearly see that this right here is some good moisture. So we're going to back that back on, and we're going to move on to the next step. Come on along and let's go. All right. So we're going to walk on up through the cornfield. All right. Through our little cornfield. Now, absolutely right here on this fence line right here, guys. Like I said, I love to utilize my fence space. The reason why is because I can get so much food just off of this fence with stuff growing vertically. All right, so come on, I'm going to show you what we have going on here on this fence space. Now, right inside of here, guys, what we have is some cucumbers. This is where we plant out our cucumbers. Now, like I also said, it is that time to where I need to come on in and scratch, because from that rain that we had, you just want to work that right there to the side. Now, what that is going to do, like I said, is going to help oxygen, guys, to go ahead and get to those roots, so that way these plants won't get taken out by lack of oxygen. Okay, so we're just going to scrape the side right there, just like that. And so that way these plants can keep on keep on striving. All right, so far those little sucklings, they're looking really good. And let me grab my stick here, and we're going to keep on moving. So come on along. Right over here is where we also have these long beans planted out. Okay, this is our long beans right here. Like I said, utilizing your fence space. If you take a long look all the way on down to the fence, you will notice that we have another long row of long beans. Now, with this fencing right here, guys, what it do for me is to prevent me from having to come out here and make trellises for these beans, or going out and buying stuff for these beans. I just use the fence to go ahead and run on up. You know, they run up the fence, and you know, hey, before you know it, we'll be out here harvesting some beans. All right, so come on along, camera lady, and let's keep on walking and talking. Okay, so right in here also absolutely is another bed. Like I said, I may come on out and plant another variety of corn. Stay tuned for that. Like I said, I will talk about with planting another variety of corn on that other video, guys. All right, so also right in here is where we have some bell pepper planted. For the most part, these bell peppers, they're doing pretty good. It's about that time for me to come on in again and work around the sides of these bell peppers right here to let some oxygen on down in there. For the most part, they're looking really good though. I am happy with what I am seeing. I think I'm going to come on in as well and put that cage around these bell peppers just to help them with some support, because I'm telling you, even bell peppers here on the homestead grow big. Don't know what this year is going to bring, but I'm praying to the Most High that it will be a very blessed and a prosperous bell pepper season. All right. So right in here, guys, and before I move on, I just want to talk a little bit about weeds. I know you come in my garden oftentimes, and my garden is swept clean, guys. Yes, shortly this garden will be swept clean again, because the key thing about it is, and the key thing about it is, you want to get these weeds before they start going back to seed. If you let these weeds go to seed and let the seed fall back down on the ground, then it's going to be a cycle over and over again. You will be back in here pulling weeds and picking weeds. If you can see, it's spring. We're in the middle of spring now, and you can notice that my weed pressure in my garden is not bad at all. At least once a week, I will come on out and I will groom my garden, guys, because it's one of those things you need to keep your garden clean, okay? Because those weeds compete with what you're actually trying to plant, robbing your plants from the nutrients that they need. All right, so just make sure you keep that garden clean. Take one day out of the week to tend to your garden and get all the gunk out of there, which is all that. Right on over here, guys, what we have is some okras. Now, if you notice, there's this white powdery substance on this okra. Absolutely, it is not on crack. What it is, you know, there, it's not on crack, guys. What it is actually, some diatomaceous earth that we have put out here on top of these okra to keep the roly-polies from eating all of my okras down, guys. Now, right here, you will see some little pill-looking things. You may not be able to see it, but I'll show it to you. What that is sluggo, which is a organic thing for slugs, guys, that I came on in and sprinkled down here, because the slugs and the roly-polies right now, the pressure is very high on the homestead. I am in the process of eradication. Eradication, guys. I hate to have to take them out, but they're not doing my garden any good. All right.
The opposite. They're doing
Yeah, but and the thing about it is, those roly-polies, guys, they do help to put back into your garden. Of course, they'll eat the dry matter, anything, the dead leaves, they'll eat it, and of course poop back out, back into the garden and help the garden. But when you have a bad infestation, it tends to work against what it is that you're trying to do, because if they don't have any uh, uh, dead leaves or anything like that of that nature to eat, they will actually turn on your plant, and that is what they're doing right now. And so I have to get them out of here. All right, so right here we actually have 3 rows of okras planted, guys. If you notice, there is some okra that is bigger than some, and it's because the roly-polies and the slug was attacking them um, before they even come up halfway out of the ground. And so we're staying on it now, so that way we can make sure that we get a good, yes, we end up replanting out some of the okras to make sure. And here we have another, and speaking of it, look at this one right here, guys. Look at this. You see that? They ate the crown of this okra plant on out, and look at that. So that's why I had to come back on in and replant these okras, because of the roly-polies. And you know it, this is actually the jambalaya variety of okras. We plant them out and we had great germination, but those little fellas, they set us back just a little bit, but that's all right. We know what to do to take care of them. Come on over here, camera lady. So right in here, guys, is where, yes, we have our Kalaloo. You come on in. If you notice right here what we have, and yes, these ones right here, they're not getting high. Excuse me, guys. This is just diatomaceous earth, okay? What it is to keep the bugs off of this Calaloo here. If you notice, we have some new leaves coming out, looking real nice and beautiful. The thing about it is we have those bugs that are those flea beetles that come on in and they will try to attack the leaves on these plants right here. And so we have to attack them before they attack us. Okay. And also, again, you want to get a visual of this garden now, because by the grace of the Most High, it may not look like this maybe 2 weeks to a month from now. Okay, so get a visual. So we have 3 rows of Kalaloo planted on out. Really, I'm saying 3 rows, but yes, we have 3 beds of Kalaloo planted out with at least about 5 rows of Kalaloo in here. Now over here, I do have one more row that I need to put on in of Calaloo. I'm going to try and get that done today to plant those on out. But right on over here, guys, is our carrots. Okay, looking beautiful, looking beautiful. They still have a bit more time to go. And so, hey, they're looking really nice. As y'all can see, they just took off overnight. Now stay tuned. We're going to come on in and talk a little bit more about these carrots here as well, because I know at times you may have struggle or, you know, have a little, issue growing carrots, guys. And so we want to come on in and talk a little bit about it to give you all a little bit of tips on how to go ahead and grow your carrots so they can be looking looking good over a period of time. Before I move on, what I want to go ahead and do is to check the progress of this carrot here. And look at what we have there. We're actually getting some carrots, but those are not ready just as yet. Still have a little bit more time to go. And just speaking of not ready just as yet, if you do need to come out here and get some carrot to put inside of a meal, you can actually come on out and pull a few, guys. You don't necessarily have to wait till they get pretty big. Okay, so right in here in this garden bed, as y'all can see, it's not a whole lot going on in this bed right here, guys. But we will be coming on in to plant some stuff on out in this bed, or we may even just leave it and let it go ahead and rest for the springtime. Right over here is where we have some more cilantro. Okay. Yes, it's just cilantroing up here on the homestead. It's cilantro party, guys. They're doing really good. Hey, what more to say about cilantro, right? Other than it's a good herbs for you to have here on your homestead. Right in here also is where I had me some onions planted. And like I said, these did not do so well for us. Now, that's all right. We're not going to blame it on the earthworms, or we're not going to blame it on X, Y, and Z. We're just going to do it again next year and try and pray that we get a better result. All right. So now these ones that you see on top of the ground, these are not the earthworms that did that. I came on in and I did a little bit of weeding, and some that was next to the weed end up coming up with the weed. So we'll be collecting these to take those on inside of the house, because yes, we are going to use those as well. Right in this area, guys, if you remember, this is where we had our garlic planted on out. And yes, we have harvested out all the garlic, and I am thinking about putting sweet potatoes in this bed right here. So with all those extra slips that we have down there, we're going to come on in and plant out sweet potatoes, guys. So hey, the only thing I'm worrying about is I am praying that the nitrogen is not too high in this bed, but we will soon find out. Okay, we will soon find out. Right here is where we have celery. Yes, so this is our celery plant that is actually going to seed. Now this one right here is actually a volunteer celery, guys, from when we had celery planted last year that went to seed.
Year before
And
last.
yes, excuse me, year before last, it dropped seed, and this is where we end up with this celery right here. Now I'm going to tell you, this celery that we plant here on the homestead have store-bought celery have nothing on it. Okay, the flavor is more potent, the flavor is more stronger. I'm telling you,
A little
it's
goes a long way.
yes, yes, absolutely. So right in here is where we also have a few more onions planted out. Now our red onions, if y'all can see, they're actually starting to bulb out in this bed right here, guys. Okay, so they're starting to bulb, and hey, like I said, pretty soon it's going to be that time for us to come on out here and start harvesting onions. And right here once more again, and I believe right here is going to conclude the garden tour. We have more celery that is going to seed, and so we're just patiently awaiting for our celery seeds, guys. So that is pretty much it right there. That concludes the garden update for the top. Now, yes, we do have a little bit more garden space here on this homestead, so stay tuned for part two. We're going to be coming on in to do a part two garden update, guys. I pray that y'all took a little bit away from this video. Absolutely, yes, it's supposed to be a garden tour, but I end up doing a little bit of work as I was going on through. But that right there is pretty much it. Now, like I'm going to say, I believe long time ago, I told you all that, hey, you may hear me say this again, and I am going to say it. Now you see all the work and all the things that is going on here in the garden, guys. Just make sure that you are starting yourself a garden. Get on up, get outside, and get in the dirt and start growing your own food. Even if it's just a little small space of a garden, that's all right too. Get out there and plant something, okay? Because uh, you're going to need it. You're going to need it absolutely. As the price of things keep on going up, you're going to see that, you know what, man, Mr. Humble is right about me getting out there and starting a garden. Because not only that, you having a garden, but you going out there and buying that food from the store is going to burn a second hole through your pocket, along with all the rest of bills and things that you already have to pay. Food expense bill is going to get very high. So you can cut that bill in half by getting outside and planting most of the things that you like to consume anyway. Okay, so as time goes on, I will continue to keep on coming out here as long as the Father give me strength and a good health to come out here and keep on planting and keep on bringing you all along with me. That is what I will do. Now you remember, you keep a smile on your face, you be happy, you be cheerful, and you be blessed, guys. Until next time, we will catch you all in another video. Have a blessed day.